Ladies and gentlemen, this is Killer Kross. Please do not notify the police. Your signal has been interrupted. You are now listening to Rock and Wrestling Local 420. Tuck your chin, please, sir. Thank you.
Wow, what a fantastic gift. I realize the title of your show, Rock and Wrestling Local 420. And I'm going to take that idea and go extreme.
Alrighty then. This is Phil Nershi of the String Cheese Incident coming to you from up in the Windy Mountain. I'm here joining Cosmic Chris on the Rock and Wrestling Local 420.
This is the Big Ugly JD Bishop, and if you're not listening to Rock and Wrestling Local 420, you must be stupid.
Hey there, radio buddies. It's me, Max Volume. You are listening to Rock and Wrestling and Local 420 with Cosmic Chris.
Hey, this is Chad of the Two Man Power Trip of Wrestling Podcast. When you're done listening to my show, head on over and listen to the Rock and Wrestling Local 420, and I guarantee you will not be disappointed.
Hey, folks, I got a name for you when you're the greatest podcast in podcast alive today. They don't call you a great podcast. They call you Rock and Wrestling in Local 420. Beat it if you can.
So as Joe Rogan would say, hello, friends. Yep, it's me, Cosmic Chris. Another week of Rock and Wrestling, Local 420. Yes, I am here, serving it up and slamming it down for you. Every week, on the week, except for the last couple weeks when I didn't do an episode, so I guess that's not really true. I guess you caught me in a lie, but I don't know, really. So, there's a lot of shit going on. I know there's a judge in New Jersey that just, her son was murdered, her husband's fighting for his life, and right now she's attached to some sort of, I don't know if it's Ghislaine Maxwell personally, but something that's, I don't know. This could be a mob hit. This could be the cabal. This could be, Trump's Secret Service. You never know. I have no idea, but it's some serious shit going down. And like I said, this is just within hours ago, and as I do every week that I recorded on Sunday nights, Monday mornings. So, yeah, we'll wait and see by next week what happens there. Because right now it's so up in the air, nobody knows really what's going on. So, but we got some rock news. Apparently Ozzy is working on a new album. Dude, he just released an album, 5 months ago? Like, come on, man. Like, I'm not saying we don't want to hear more for Ozzy, but is he trying to just put all this out before he dies? Because you're working him like a dog, Sharon. So let's see, what else do we got? Jane's Addiction's Perry Farrell announces new solo box set, Glitz the Glamour. So, one other thing I noticed in the news is Soundgarden has dropped the whole benefit concert claims made against Vicky Cornell. And they go off. Like, I don't know, but I don't know what they say, but it just has this statement from Vicky Cornell's lawyers, like, their lawsuit was da-da-da-da-da, borderline this, yada, 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 yada. Like, they're, like, slamming them. Like, dude, it's just, wow. So they must have just bowed out or something, because if this is a mutual agreement, you would figure, okay, it's been settled, don't worry about it. But no, these people are like, yeah, they fucking backed out because they didn't have a case. Fuck those guys. That's how it seems, But here's the other side of the coin. Their lawsuit about the 7 new tracks that they're trying to obtain from Vicky Cornell, that lawsuit's still going. So, I mean, I don't know. But apparently they were saying misappropriations with each one of them, each side saying about the benefit thing for Chris Cornell. And that's the other thing, that Chris Cornell and who's that Linkin Park kid? Chester Bennington, yeah. There's stuff going around that they were kind of going to blow the whistle on this thing that's been going on over the past year about all these sex scandals and sex trafficking and stuff. I guess that's what Vicky Cornell and Chris Cornell's fundraiser was about, fighting against that, as did Chester Bennington. So we'll see what happens there. There's a couple venues, Manchester's Deaf Institute and Gorilla venues have permanently closed, and the Music Venue Trust has also announced that they're closing. Yeah, like, we're losing venues, so you guys should really go to that site, Save Our Venues, because, like, I was just telling Jub Jubs, my friends at Jub Jubs, that let's start a fundraiser, let's start something, you know, because they've got apparel. You could actually go and get Jub Jubs sweatshirts, Jub Jubs hats. It's really cool if you check it out. If you're local anyway, you know, but support our Reno local one, Jub Jubs, for sure. But support all of them. And so there's this site that says Save Our Venues. And if you can, donate to this bullshit. So Marilyn Manson is this week on the 19th, actually. Yesterday was the 26th anniversary of Portrait American Family, Manson's first debut album. I remember when that album first came out. It was so spooky because it was right when I was just finding out about Manson anyway. When I first saw them here in Reno, they played this place called the Fallout Shelter, which is this little basement room that holds like 50 people. And they were Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids. And I went, and it was an all ages show. That's what the Fallout Shelter was. It was all ages because I wasn't old enough to get. I was 18 or 19. But yeah, they played, and I don't know, it was just like the scariest thing. Because you had Slayer and Metallica and like all these metal bands. But here you had this horror, androgynous Alice Cooper Frankenstein monster of a creature just scaring the fuck out of me using the shit that scared me when I was a kid. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. That movie's pretty fucking dark, dude. Let's see. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Another one that's really, really dark. The Child Catcher with the whole long note. That's the whole, if you look at Marilyn Manson's second album, I used to have this really awesome shirt which had the cover, and it Smells Like Children. And they do the Shitty Chicken Gangbang and like, you know, all sorts of stuff. And it was before they really ever hit, because it wasn't until, not Mechanical Animals, which really shot them, but the one with the beautiful Antichrist Superstar, that really shot them into superstardom. And they even got bigger with Mechanical Animals. But Portrait of American Family and Smells Like Children were still underground shit that when you're listening to it, you're like, what the fuck is this? And so it was really cool when I first saw them at the Fallout Shelter. Saw them a few years ago after Portrait came out. They played the Easy Street. I forgot what it was called at the time, but there was this country bar out on Keystone. And then it turned into a regular venue. It wasn't just country. It just happened to be country a long time ago. But it turned into a regular venue, and it got changed to the Paradox and all a bunch of shit. But I think it was the Paradox when it got changed, and that's what club it was. And it was Marilyn Manson, the Jim Rose Circus, which is a bunch of freaks, kind of like the Bindlestiff, if you know what the Bindlestiff is. And then 9 Inch Nails. And that was a really good show. So I got to see Marilyn Manson in their early days. And they're from Florida. And so coming all the way over here to the West Coast, I mean, that's just cool at the time. But yeah, 26 years ago that album came out, and I love that album. It has still to this day my favorite fucking Manson song, Dopehead, is on that album. Let's see. Also, Wolfgang Van Halen says it's not up to David Lee Roth to decide if Eddie Van Halen will never tour again. And that's his response on Twitter after David Lee Roth just again says, hey, if you want to hear Van Halen, you might as well come see me. Which is pretty much true. If you want to hear Van Halen or Van Hagar, you got to go to the two fucking lead singers because Van Halen ain't doing shit. So if you want to see Van Halen, you go see David Lee Roth. If you want to see Van Hagar, you go see Sammy Hagar. Because both those guys do Van Halen music. And their solo shit. So, I mean, I saw Van Halen right when they first came back out with Wolfie. And I thought it was cool because for me, it was the first time I got to see Van Halen with David Lee Roth. Because I grew up idolizing David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth, Vince Neil, Jim Morrison, just lead singers I just was really into. I wanted to be a rock star when I was a kid. So, yeah, I just think that's funny that Wolfie puts that out there. Exodus is also working on a new album. The aggression and energy level is too high to measure. That's pretty cool. So that's pretty much what's going on in the rock world. Now I'm going to do a little bit of ranting about shit before I get into our second segment. But I'll tell you what, I fucked myself up last week. Last Wednesday, I win 5 passes to the Roller Kingdom here in Reno. So off the radio. Off Reno's Crazy 80s. And my buddy Fletch, the former drummer for Cosmic Freeway, is the DJ. And so I listen to him. I bounce between him and Max Volume from KOZZ because I can text them both. They're both friends of mine. And I can say, hey, can you play this? And they'll play it. And it's cool because it's very nostalgic for anyone that's still a radio fan because a lot of terrestrial radio today is just bullshit. It's just track listings. Very few radio stations still have DJs. And so I love listening to Fletch and Max every day from 3 to 6 and 3 to 7. So it's just really awesome. And they said, hey, be the third caller. Well, I was the third caller. And so I take the next day off of work because it's the 80s night every third Thursday. And I take this girl, Melissa, who is my foster son's auntie, actually. And I take her out on a date with her 4-year-old son. I take my niece and her 2 friends. And we don't get there, and within 15 minutes, I fuck my shit up. I'm completely laying on the roller rink going... I'm like Peter Griffin in that episode, because this has happened to me, where he's all... Ow. 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 And I'm just almost fainting because I'm just... I'm this sucks. I'm fat 45-year-old balding fucking guy laying on the fucking roller rink, and both my legs went both different ways. And so the back of my right thigh to this day right now is so in pain. I've been eating pain pills for days because I can barely walk. It sucks. It sucks just to stretch out my leg. And it's been like 4 days since, so 3 or 4 days. And let me tell you, man, I got, you know what though? I was losing a lot of weight. If I didn't lose 5 pounds, I was going to be pissed because I was sweating. And then I decided, okay, well, maybe these skates aren't. So I go back and I exchange them for a pair of rollerblades. Whoa, big mistake. I didn't get 6 more feet on the roller rink. And this is an hour later. I'm like, okay, I'll try it again. My leg's hurting, but I'm going to try. And that was a mistake. So I go back and I finally get some skates, 3rd time's the charm, that actually work. And it's been an hour or so. So I skated a few laps. And so it was cool. We all had fun. I got to take a girl out on a date. That was cool. And yeah, we played video games, and I spent a lot of money on my niece. Just buying stupid shit, playing games, but I guess that's what you do when you take a 13-year-old girl to a fucking roller rink. You let her play her games. Oh, man. So that's my week. It was pretty good until I fucked my shit up. But, you know, I'm also... Oh, man. I've just been going through a lot this week and getting really sick of this whole regime. I mean, I guess Trump's sending in people to snatch people up off the streets in Portland. And Portland and Seattle are embarrassing themselves. I am all for the protesting. Don't get me wrong. When you push people, they expect to get pushed back. But, you know, it's just sickening what's going on right now because there's people that are making protesters look bad. And they're just creating civil disobedience for no reason. Like, they don't even care. And you can call it whatever it is. I call it Antifa. I'm not saying I'm not anti-fascist, because I'm very anti-fascist. But there is groups, militant groups, that go under the name Antifa. That's what I believe. If you don't believe that, that's fine. But to me, these people are out there, Antifa, Antifa, tearing down fences and shit. Okay, whatever. So that's just my opinion. Everyone has the right to their opinion. And like I said, I try not to alienate all my audience by getting too political because I know people out there support Trump. And there's certain things that Trump does that I like, but certain things I don't like. And the same thing could go with Biden. Like, I'd like to vote for Biden, but he hasn't even fucking picked a running mate yet. Here we are, almost August. We're halfway through July. We got a week and a half before it's August. And he still has not picked a running mate. And I want to tell you all, go out there and vote. If you want things to change, then go out there and vote. But I don't even think Biden is really going to win. I honestly don't know what I have faith in. And it's just sad because our country is in tyranny right now. And I just want everything to get better. I don't want to live in a world where I can't go see Fish anymore. I can't go see, well, Slayer's retired, but still, a Slayer concert. I can't go see, you know what I really want to see? I want to see a reunion of New Edition. I had a chance to see Kid and Play, but Kid and Play was the same week that I was driving to the Gorge to see the Dead last year. And I'm like, dude, I want to see Kid and Play. I would totally go see Kid and Play. But I'm a Deadhead, and so I chose to go to the Gorge instead. So that's this week's intro. Let's take a pause for the cause, and I'll be back after these words.
Hey, this is Kevin Kleinrock from Masked Republic and the Keeping It 100 with Conan podcast, and you're listening to Rock and Wrestling Local 420. Make sure you tune in every week.
Hey, it's Pat Kelly of the West Coast Wrestling Connection and the Golf Guys Radio Show, and you're listening to my buddy, Cosmic Chris, Rock and Wrestling Local 420.
This is Hotshot Danny Duggan, and you're listening to Rock and Wrestling Local 420.
Hey, folks, let me tell you about DDP Yoga. At a time in my life, not so long ago, I was suffering from Hep C as well as diabetes and well over 300 pounds. And a friend of mine sent me a YouTube video of this man, Arthur Borman. He was a paratrooper that had been told he would never walk again without the use of crutches. He gave DDP Yoga a try and is now one of DDP's leading success stories, as well as helping such people as Scott Hall, Chris Jericho, Gabriel Iglesias, Corey Taylor, Jake the Snake Roberts, Stevie Richards, and countless others. Diamond Dallas Page originally developed DDP Yoga for athletes such as himself who had suffered years of injury due to high-impact sports. When he ruptured his L4 and L5 spinal discs during the height of his professional wrestling career, he was so desperate to keep his childhood dream alive that he was willing to try anything. So he tried yoga for the first time. I know firsthand the benefits that DDP Yoga has to offer. Because Dallas had experience in many forms of fitness, he quickly learned how different yoga was from other traditional workouts. Soon he started mixing elements of yoga with his rehab as well as traditional workout principles. For almost a decade, he has refined his program and has become a master at teaching it to others. DDP has saved my life. I encourage you to buy the discs as I have. Go to ddpyoga.com or you can download the DDP Yoga Now app. You can do it anywhere you want. He has cooking segments, live daily workout segments. I encourage you to check it out. Start living a healthier life. And hey, this ain't your mama's yoga. Hey folks, we're back. Oh man, there's not really a lot to talk about in the world of wrestling these days. Mainly because of a shitty company called Spectrum. I hate Spectrum. Spectrum sucks. I wish I was back in Portland where I had Comcast. Comcast was a great company. Spectrum's a shitty company. And now I had to, because of all the coronavirus and trying to pay bills, I had to cut down on my cable. And one of the things that I was lied to about was Access and El Rey and certain channels, because I asked this person what channels are in this package. I specifically asked, is Access a part of this package? No. Is El Rey a part of this package? No. So if I cut this package out, I'll still get Access. I'll still get El Rey. Yes, I was lied to. And boy, did it suck. I wasn't very happy. And now I'm not going to be able to watch Impact, because that's where that little rant was leading into. And so I watched my last episode of Impact, and it was all right. I mean, there wasn't nothing special. It was mainly just Ace Austin and that guy from formerly of OVE, the big guy that looks like Hawkins in AEW. They were in some car together. Like, that's really all that I mean, Crazy Steve's been back lately. That's pretty cool. But why isn't Crazy Steve with Rosemary? I mean, Abyss is in the WWE now, so, I mean, and he's not even an on-air talent. I think he's just an agent. But still, you know, like, dude, they should bring Abyss into WWE. They need storyline. Abyss was good storyline. And he owns that character, I'm pretty sure. I mean, even if TNA owned it, he could come up with a really good... Dude, the guy's so talented. But, there was more with, what was it, what's his name, and Ken Shamrock. That was still going on. But, you know, I mean, as much as I like Impact right now, you know me. For the past 10 years, I've had a love-hate relationship with TNA and Impact, so it's not going to make or break me. And I can still see AEW and the WWE and all that stuff, so... Raw did have some stuff that I wanted to mention. So what I actually wrote down with Raw was Truth is talking to Rico and Cedric backstage. Then Tozawa and the Ninjas shows up, and then basically he tells Tozawa I want to meet you in that ring. So it's Truth versus Tozawa. And then after that match, Shayna, I don't even think the match starts up yet at this point. Shayna shows up and Tozawa retreats. And then Truth basically starts looking at Shayna and says, I'll let myself out, and tosses the mic to her for basically Shayna's weak-minded women's champ, Queen of Spades, with a reality check promo. So she basically goes off about all that. And then it explains Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins for an eye match. And then Seth delivers a you asked me promo. You asked me to do this. You asked me to do that, you know. And right then KO comes out and interrupts with an eye patch, which I thought was kind of funny. And then then there's a match with Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy. And Seth's basically telling Buddy Murphy to, don't worry, you need to concentrate on your Aleister Black match. And then it goes to Big Show with Ric Flair backstage. And, Flair's just kind of saying, hey, Show, I love you, yada, yada, yada. But, hey, Randy's like the best there is right now, yada, yada, yada. And then basically Show calls him out on being the dirtiest player in the game. He goes, Rick, is this really what you want? You want your last years just being, And so basically just talk shit to him, kind of, and says, Rick, I respect you, but you're also the dirtiest player in the game. Basically, fuck you. And then somehow it goes to Truth getting an RKO. And then right then, Big Show enters and then challenges Randy Orton to an unsanctioned match. And that's basically what I wrote down of Raw. The rest of Raw I could really give two shits about. SmackDown I really didn't care about either. There was a moment of bliss where Bayley calls Asuka out, and she's calling her the Empress of Yesterday, and right when she says Empress of Yesterday, out comes Asuka, and then basically a fight breaks out. And then after that, there wasn't much. There was Miz TV, and that was all right. It was Miz, Morrison, and God, you know what? Honestly, I can't even remember who it was right off now, but it was all right. Outside of that, like I said, they haven't been doing much with Mandy and Otis, so there's a lot of stuff I haven't cared about, but it is what it is. AEW, pretty much the only thing that was interesting in AEW was at one point. Now, I'm also going to go off on the fact that I've got to say right now, AEW's in-ring work just sucks. It's just a bunch of high-flying acrobatic shit. It's not, they don't sell, they don't do nothing. It's just complete crap to me. The only thing that holds that show together is right now Chris Jericho. He is carrying the show on his back. And with what's going on right now, him and Jake Strong, whatever he's called in AEW, Jack Swagger, and LAX, Ortiz and Santana, they're talking shit to Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy comes out, gives them the thumbs up, and like Julius Caesar, like straight up Dom DeLuise in History of the World Part 1, points his thumb down. Right when he points his thumbs down, he goes, carry on their asses. Just like the pig's blood, except it's all orange juice. And the one thing that makes this thing funny is that one of the Ortiz or Santana, I can't remember which one, is so overacting and slipping and sliding, it looks fake. He is going William Shatner on this. But with that said, I was highly entertained with it. So I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. And there's other stuff right now. There was a scene where the Revival comes out. I forgot what they're called, FTR or something like that. And they come out, and Kenny Omega brings this cooler of beer to the ring. And he's wanting them to salute and, cheers the beers. Hands everyone beers. They pour their beers over Kenny Omega's head. That was kind of funny. And then he basically goes, and then the Bucks start holding him back, and that's it. But outside of those two things, AEW, I really didn't give two shits for. Getting back to Impact, actually, there was something that I liked. The Bayley version of Impact, and Susie had a match against God, I wish I could remember who it was, but it was actually pretty good. So outside of that, like I said, I'm not going to be able to watch more Impact, and in the next few weeks I'm going to be bringing up different stuff when I actually start putting some stuff together with Chad. I don't know if I'm going to be going through play-by-plays of what's going on, my opinions of the storylines. I may just talk and feature one wrestler and just spend 10, 20 minutes of a segment just talking about one wrestler. We're going to do some tear-aparts, like old school videos that we're going to tear apart. And we're going to do some round tables where we look at some albums, like, say, American Beauty and Working Man's Dead, as opposed to Built to Last and In the Dark. Or Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman versus Bark at the Moon and The Ultimate Sin. You know, we're going to start doing stuff like that. And like I said, more video stuff. So with that said, let's get into this week's George Carlin rant. And yeah, he wants to take a look at the news this week. See you when we get back.
Like to take a look at the news. Terrorists blow up Central America and leave a note. A Philadelphia man was arrested today while attempting to make an unauthorized deposit in a sperm bank. Silent film star Mark Dunbar died today. In Hollywood, he had no last words. However, he did make several gestures. San Diego Freeway was the scene of a freak accident today as 6 freaks in a camper crashed into 3 freaks in a van. Nobel Prize in Mathematics has been awarded to a California professor who has discovered a new number. The number is Bleen, which he claims belongs between 6 and 7. Medical researchers have discovered a disease which has no symptoms. It is impossible to detect, and there is no known cure. Fortunately, it is confined to New Jersey. Archaeologists digging at a site in Iran have discovered the remains of a city which was inhabited by a race of people who had absolutely no skills or tools of any kind. No trace of anything has been found anywhere near the site. Heart transplants have declined in recent months because of a lack of donors. Many people consider it an imposition. Hollywood film star Vicky Trick and her husband, Mark Spot, have called it quits today after a 27-minute honeymoon in front of the church. On the lighter side of the news, here's a Halloween prank that really backfired. Seems that little 13-year-old Danny Omerta thought that it would be great fun to soap all the windows of the cars on his block. And he had soaped about 7 of them and was starting to soap the 8th one, not knowing that the owner of the 8th car, Carl Downing, was seated inside. Carl Downing shot Danny in the head 4 times. And in Cleveland today, 27 people suffered 12 hours of continuous whiplash when a man claiming to be the devil hijacked a roller coaster. And to kind of wind up the news tonight, we'll take a look at the news hostility scoreboard. Find out how we're treating each other around the world. According to the scoreboard, we got 4 civil wars going on right now. 2 brush fire wars, 4 vest pocket wars, 9 wars of liberation, 2 police actions, 16 revolutions, 35 rebellions, 58 border clashes, 21 terrorist bombings, 36 retaliatory raids, 400 guerrilla operations, 95 commando strikes, 612 acts of sabotage, 237 ceasefire violations, 44 surprise attacks, 6 outside aggressions, 6 internal upheavals, 3 protective reaction strikes, 10 counterinsurgencies, 21 violent disturbances, 30 warlike acts, 906 hostile incidents, 10 arms races, 18 deliberate provocations, 61 threats to security, 9 dangerous escalations, 2 military confrontations, 6 heightenings of tension, 14 heated exchanges, 12 belligerent moves, 17 reprisals, 3 powder kegs, 2 tinder boxes, and an ultimatum.
Hey, this is Mark Karen from Rat Dog. You're listening to Rock and Wrestling Local 420 with Chris. Enjoy.
So this is Greg Golden from the Greg Golden Band, Bizarre Guitar in Reno, Nevada, and you're listening to Rock and Wrestling Local 420. Those guys rock.
All right, you're listening to Rock, Wrestling, and Local 420 with TKO Cody Smith. Stay tuned for more action coming right up.
Well, hey, folks, it's the end of the show. Hope you like this week's. Like I said, the next few weeks we're going through transitional points and changes, and we'll see what we can bring you. And hopefully you'll stick with us and keep letting everyone know that this is the greatest podcast ever. So, with that said, hope you liked the Carlin rant this week. As the news hostility scoreboard. Yeah. Do a few shout outs before I stop. Throw my shout out to Brian Zane, the Z-Man, with Wrestling with Regret. Check out our show on YouTube. Another good YouTuber to follow would be Z-Dude, Zeedood. He's helped me with my YouTube channel. John and Chad from the Two-Man Power Trip of Wrestling. With their podcast, they also have, with Shane Douglas, the Triple Threat podcast, which is on the Russo brand on the Realm Network, which is less than $1 a week, less than $4 a month. You get like so many good shows. I tend to listen to a lot of the LGBTQ show with Disco and Jeff Lane. And the Conspiracy Horseman, that's always a good one that I like. But yeah, you should check out their podcast. Chad has also got another podcast that he's doing called Declassified, which I just listened to the other day, and it was just awesome. They went the first anniversary of Monday Night Raw in 1994, and they tore that apart. And that was a good one. It was like 48 minutes, 50 minutes, something like that, and it was just good. Chad has a couple guys that I don't know working with him on that, and yeah, it was really good. Check it out. And let's see, if you want to find us on any podcast, Podcast Addict, you can find us on Spotify, Stitcher, like I said, Podcast Addict, iTunes, etc., etc. You can follow us on the Twitter at Punchin' Baby Yoda. So it's Punchin' without the G, Baby Yoda. And you can follow us on Instagram at Punchin' Baby Yoda. One word, Punchin' Baby Yoda. I'm getting a lot of new followers on that site, so that's actually pretty cool. You can email us at facebook.com, or we're on facebook.com, but you can email us at Rock and Wrestling Local 420 at Gmail, and let us know what you think, man. All right. See you next week.